Everyone, good morning also to our online viewers. Today is November 7, 2024. Welcome to our, uh, uh, could you please change, opening of bids. We are, dili ni siya opening of bids, pre-bid conference ta ha. Please correct the, ano, pre-bid conference ta. Okay, so good morning also to our prospective bidders for these projects. So before we start, may I request everybody to please stand for the prayer.
Let us put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Our Heavenly Father, we offer you our thanksgiving. We thank you for everyone gathered here today to walk with you. May we ask you for your blessings and guidance so that the activities set for this undertaking be successful. We ask you to open our eyes to see the wonderful things from this activity. We ask that you open our ears so that we may retain the invaluable knowledge. Open our minds for us to think wisely. Put us with understanding, cooperation, and peace in fulfilling our responsibilities. Open our hearts so that we may receive your everlasting love, and open our spirit so that we may know that you are with us all throughout the day. We ask all this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Okay. Okay, so our pre-bid conference this morning will be composed of 11 projects to be discussed by our respective planning engineers. So before we start, we will call the attendance first. For the Bidding and Awards Committee, we have the back chairperson, Sharina A. Batukapala. Then for the vice chairperson, yours truly, Jeremiah Gabuya. Then we also have, for the back members, we have Maria Luz Librans. For the back secretariat, we have Jerome R. Dake. We have Winmar R. Linia, Marilu T. Avela. For the technical working group, we have Kenny Luis Mansueto, okay, and Evelyn Mansueto as the technical working group head. Okay. We also have Jemuel Rod Italingting and Corazon Amogues. Anybody whose names were not called? Okay. So for the construction firm, we have Rebecca Najiba Layson from the Rebecca Najiba Construction and Development. Good morning, ma'am. And also Feli M. D. Nawanaw from First J.E. Adlawan Construction. Okay. So wala na. So we have only 2 prospective bidders who will listen to our discussion this morning. And also to our planning engineers, no? Composed of the planning team. Okay, so the projects that are going to be discussed this morning are the following. We have 25H80025, that is Convergence Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, Multipurpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, construction of multipurpose building package A, Barangay Sudlon, Uno. Then the next we have 25H80026, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects Alleviating Gaps, or the SIPAG, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support social services, construction completion of Babag Health Center and Wellness Camp. The third is 25H80027, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Programs Alleviating Gaps, or the SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of roads, low protection structure, Barangay Budlaan, Cebu City, Cebu. Then we have 24H80028, 001, ensure safe and reliable national road system, bridge program, rehabilitation, major repair of permanent bridges, Kinalumsan Bridge 2, B00407CB, along Padilla Street, Cebu City. Next, we have 25H80029, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, access road and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public bidding facilities, construction of road, Barangay Budlaan, Cebu City, Cebu. Next, 25H80030, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, or the SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public building facilities, construction of road, Barangay Tap-Tap, Cebu City, Cebu. Then we have 25H80031. This is still the SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public building facilities, rehabilitation of bridge along Tres de Abril Street, Cebu City, Cebu. Then we have 25H80032, 001, ensure safe and reliable national road system, asset preservation program, rehabilitation, reconstruction, upgrading of damaged paved roads, secondary roads, Cebu Balamban Trans-Central Highway, kilometer 5 plus minus 502 to kilometer 7 plus 000 Cebu City, Cebu. Then 25H80033, 002, protect lives and properties against major floods, flood management program, construction maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage systems, construction of flood mitigation structure along Lahog River, Barangay Lahog, Cebu City.
Okay, ma'am. I will continue. We have number 11, number 10, 25H80034, 002, protect lives and properties against major flood management program, construction maintenance of flood mitigation structures and drainage systems. Construction of flood mitigation structure, Barangay Pit-O, Cebu City. So our last but not the least for this pre-bidding conference, 25H80035, 002, protect lives and properties against major flood management program, construction maintenance of flood mitigation facilities within major river basins and principal rivers, construction of flood mitigation structure along Mananga River, Package 2, Barangay Bonbon, Cebu City. So this pre-bid conference will be discussed with the planning engineers, and we have a reminder. This office will undertake early procurement activities, or APA, for FY 2025 National Expenditures Program based on the guidelines on the implementation of early procurement activities. Okay, so planning. So we will now, sinong mauna mag-discuss sa inyo? Okay, so Engineer Ariel. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I am Engineer Cardosa, and I'm here to present the projects under buildings. So for the first project, we have the contract ID 25HH0025 with the contract name Convergence and Special Support Program, Basic Infrastructure Program, Multi-Purpose Buildings, Facilities to Support Social Services, Construction of Multi-Purpose Building, Package A at Barangay Sudlon, Uno, Cebu City, Cebu. With project description, buildings, construction, low-rise, concrete. Approved budget contract is 4,950,000 with contract duration 150 calendar days and source of funds FY 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. For the scope of works, first of all, this is located in Sitio Sangi, Barangay Sudlon, Uno. So, this is the existing covered court. Our main scope is magbutang og mezzanine floor or second floor nga bleachers. So, the summary of quantities. First item, we have A 1.16, provision of combined field office, laboratory, and living quarters buildings for engineers. Next, A 1.115, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office for the engineer. Part 2, B3, permits and clearances. B410, miscellaneous survey and staking. B5 is project billboard and signboard. B71, occupational safety and health program. And B9, mobilization and demobilization. For the main scope of works, for Part A, earthworks, we have the removal of structures and obstruction. Second is the structure excavation for the footing ni. And then next, 8041A, embankment from the structure excavation. Next is 8044, gravel fill. And then next, 9011, lean concrete for footing. 9001C2, structural concrete for footings. 9001C4, structural concrete for columns. And 9001C5, structural concrete for suspended slab. And 9001C6, structural concrete for beams and girders. 9021A, reinforcing steel deformed grade 40. Next is 9032, formworks and false works. Next is waterproofing. For the waterproofing sa existing na water tank ni, since ang main problem nila is nag-leak. So, included di ay sa water tank ang pag-remove sa top slab and then i-waterproof ang sulod sa tank and then tabunan balik ang top slab. Next, for fabricated materials, 10471, structural steel. Next is 10516 for the railings at the second floor mezzanine. Next is 10031A, ceiling. This is at the stage area. Next is cement floor finish. Next is 10271, cement plaster finish. Next is 10321A, painting works, rubberized for the covered court, the whole area. 10321A is painting works for masonry. And 10321C is painting works for steel. So, mauni ang existing covered court plan. And then, Mao ni ang mezzanine or mezzanine bleacher. So basically there are 4 steel stairs, 1, 2, and sa other side 3 and 4. Since maglisod man mag-concrete, so our bench is, we have a steel bench, mo ni ang plan, and then the railings for the mezzanine floor, and then the stair details. That's all for Barangay Sudlon 1. The next one for buildings, we have contract ID 25HH0026, Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects Alleviating Gaps, or SIPAG, multipurpose buildings, facilities to support social services, construction completion of Babag Health Center and Wellness Camp, Cebu City, Cebu. With project description, buildings, construction low-rise concrete, approved budget contract, 5,880,000, with contract duration 150 calendar days. Source of funds, FY 2025, DPWH Infrastructure Program, based on NEP. To discuss the scope of works, mo ni ang existing building dito. So ang main scope is mo continue lang ta sa existing as low protection located at the rear side of the building. So dinhing aside. 26 linear meter. Mo continue lang ta sa existing as low protection nga na dinhi og sa right side sa building. For the items, we have A 1.16, provision of combined field office. A 1.115, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office for the engineer. Part 2, B3, permits and clearances. B5, project billboard signboard. B7.1, occupational safety and health program. B9, mobilization and demobilization. B20, temporary fence. Na temporary fence since it is inside the school premises. Not inside pero duol og eskwelahan. Magian og students. So, natay temporary fence. For part A, earthworks. 8011, removal of structures and obstruction. 8031A, structure excavation. So this is for the footing sa slow protection. 8041A, embankment of structure excavation. 804, gravel fill. 1601, fill and backfill. And part B, 901C1, structural concrete for the slow protection. 901C2, structural concrete for footings and slab on fill. 902.1b, reinforcing steel deformed, grade 60. 903.2, formworks and false works. For the fabricated materials, 107.1a, we have the aluminum frame glass door sa inside ni sa existing building, second floor, located at the second floor. And then next is 108.1d, aluminum glass window, fixed type, also located at the second floor. I will show you later. Next is 1018.1, glazed tiles and trims, 1018.2, unglazed tiles. And lastly is 503.1, metal frames and gratings. So muna yung 26 meters nga slow protection. Also the concrete slab nga ibutang and trench drain niya. sa likod sa building. Ang kani. And also, for the katong doors and doors, 1 unit lang of D11 located at the second floor, this side of the building sa likod. Next is for the unglazed tiles. Unglazed tiles located siya sa ramp and sa comfort rooms. Ramp area and sa tanang comfort rooms sa floor. And then sa glazed tiles located at the ground floor. Same gihapon, ground floor. Kani nga area. That's all for buildings. I will give the mic to Engineer Silva to discuss the roads and bridges. Thank you.
So good morning everyone. I will be presenting to you contract ID 25HH0027 with the contract name Convergence and Special Support Program Sustainable Infrastructure Projects Alleviating Gaps or SIPAG. Access roads and or bridges from national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of roads, slope protection, structure, Barangay Budlaan, Cebu City. The project has an ABC of 4,900,000 with 72 calendar days, and the source of fund is NEP 2025. So as for the plan, there will be 2 sections as presented on the first page with the net length of 875 meters. The next page shows us the wrong plan. My bad. So for the slope protection, the net length is 70 meters with 3 sections as presented on this page. The next page shows the project limits and the coordinates as to properly locate the location of the project. So as for the quantities and the scope of work, there will be A.1.6 provision of combined field office for the engineer, A.1.115 operation and maintenance of a temporary field office, laboratory and living quarters building for the engineer, B3 permits and clearances, B410 miscellaneous survey and staking, B5 project billboard, signboard, B5, B7.2 occupational safety and health program, B81 traffic management, B9 mobilization, demobilization, 103.6A pipe culvert and drain excavation, 404.1A reinforcing steel, 405.1A3 structural concrete, and 506.1 stone masonry. So the scope of work aims to provide slope protection, as the title suggests, with 3 sections. Section 1 with 30 meters, Section 2 25 meters, and Section 3 being 15 meters. The next pages will show us the technical specifications for each item presented from the previous page. And this is the typical section for the project and the specific locations of each section. I will give the mic to Engineer Lance for the next project.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Engineer Lance Noel Manlosa, and I will be discussing project ID 25HH0028. 001 ensure safe and reliable national road system, bridge program, rehabilitation, or major repair of permanent bridges, Kinalumsan Bridge 2, B00407, CB along Cipadilla Street, Cebu City. Project description, bridge, rehabilitation, concrete. Approved budget of contract, 10,780,000 pesos. Contract duration, 133 calendar days. Source of funds, fiscal year 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. So for the title is, we have a location in Cebu City, station limits of KM 04234, bridge length of 27.3, and net length of 32 meters. In this page, we can see the location plan of the project, and then we can see the project limits with the corresponding coordinates of the start and end. And the project is located in Cipadilla, wherein the landmark is the Gaisano Grand High Alay, or the you can see it's very popular for selling of lechon, baboy, and manok. And next is the summary of quantities. So for A116, provision of combined field office for the engineer. A1115, operation and maintenance of the said office. Next is the permits and clearances, bridge survey and staking, project billboard or signboard, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization and demobilization, removal of actual structures, or obstruction 0.05 m thick ECP, emulsified asphalt, bituminous concrete surface, wearing course, hot laid 50 mm thickness. And next is paint, expansion joint 50 millimeters gap, steel finger type. Reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings, white and yellow. Next is patching. So in general notes, we can see here the specifications and notes for the said project. And this is the general bridge plan and the general bridge elevation. So this project focuses only on the upper side of the deck slab, wherein we will be tackling the repair of the said asphalt of the carriageway and the fixing of the concrete railings and sidewalk. So this is the cross-section of the bridge. So we can see here the typical railings for the said bridge, the guardrail and the other dimensions. So I will be passing the mic to Engineer Geraldson.
So good morning, everyone. I am Engineer Geraldson Tan, and I am the designer for this project with contract ID 25HH0029, contract name Convergence and Special Support Program, Sustainable Infrastructure Projects, Alleviating Gaps, Access Roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, construction of road, Barangay Budlaan, Cebu City. With approved budget of contract 14,700,000 and contract duration of 137 calendar days. So this project has 2 sections with station limits 9,400 to 9,493, 9,500 to 9,610, 9,520 to 9,713, 9,660 to 9,720, and for section 2, 12,500 to 12,919 with a total length of 875 meters. So, mo ni siya ang iyang location map. Ang section 1, which is located sa NHA, ang section 2 kay with naara dire iyang coordinates para for geotagging. And then I will be proceeding to the scope. I'll be discussing to the main scope of work lang. So we have removal 1013B3, removal of actual structures obstruction, then surplus common excavation, structure excavation, pipe, culvert, and drain excavation, gravel fill, subgrade preparation, aggregate sub-base course, PCCP, unreinforced 0.20 meters thick, 14 days. Then for the drainage, we have reinforcing steel, structural concrete, then pipe culverts. So ang section 1 involves the removal, tapos structure excavation and pipe culvert. Then sa section 2 kay PCCP only. Then we also have stone masonry for section 1, concrete curb for section 1 also. Then to get more to detail, we have the typical road section. This is the typical road section for section 1. So as you can see, 0.20 meters thick iyang subbase. Then it has a width of 5 meters only. Tapos nai parts na both sides ang line canal. Then for section 2, we have catch basin, line canal, pipe culverts, and stone masonry with a road width of 6 meters. So that's all for this project. I'll be giving the mic to the next designer.
The next project would be contract ID 25HH0030 with a contract name SIPAG Access Roads and or Bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings facilities, construction of road, Barangay Top Cebu City, with an ABC of 14,700,000 and 137 calendar days. The project has a station limits of 22,000 to 22,656 with a net length of 656 meters. This is the location of the project, and geotag photos are provided, and specific coordinates for the start and the end are also provided. As for the quantities, the usual items from usual items from A.1.16 to B9 are still there, and then as for the specific items, there will be item 1013B3, removal of PCCP, item 1016, removal of structures and obstruction, 102.2, surplus common excavation, 103.1A, Structure, excavation, common soil. And then 103.6A, pipe culvert and drain excavation. 104.1A, embankment and roadway excavation. 104.7, gravel fill. 105.1A, subgrade preparation. 201, aggregate subbase course. 311B1, PCCP 0.2 thickness, 14 days. 405.1A, reinforcing steel. 405.1A3, structural concrete. 501A3, pipe culvert. 506.1, stone masonry and metal guardrail and metal beam end piece. The scope of work would be using 200 mm thickness PCCP and 200 mm subbase, and then the net length is 656 meters. This is the technical specifications of the project, and this is the typical section of the project. With the width of the road is 5 meters, and then certain portions would have line canal on the right side. I will give the mic to Engineer PJ for the next project.
Good morning. My name is Engineer Yara. I'm here to discuss about the plan for the bridge along Tres de Abril Street, and the net length is 24 meters. The contract name is the Convergence and Special Support Program Sustainable Infrastructure Projects Alleviating Gaps, SIPAG, access roads and or bridges from the national roads leading to major strategic public buildings, facilities, rehabilitation of bridge along Tres de Abril Street, Cebu City. Its ABC is, or approved budget of contract is 19,600,000. Its contract duration is 154 calendar days. And its source of funds is based on 2025 NEP. So the location plan is, the location of the project is at the back of CIT, along Tres de Abril Street, and its coordinates are seen in the plan, and its length is 24 meters. To jump to the direct scope of works, we have the removal of obstruction, for the expansion joint and for the asphalting, and we have also the embankment of we have also the emulsified asphalt or asphalting for the bridge, and we will also providing scar protection for the river, and for the underslab and the girders we're going to provide carbon fiber sheet, carbon fiber plate, and also we are going to provide paint for the railings. So here's the elevation plan which we will be doing the project. So this will where the protective coating also to be inserted, and also for the carbon fiber sheet and plate to be implemented. So this is also the general bridge section and the railing details where the paint will be implemented. And this is also the portion where the carbon fiber sheet and plate will be installed. And this is also the expansion joint location wherein we will stabilize for the bridge, and that's all. So I will give now the microphone to Engineer Yulin for the next project.
morning. I'm Engineer Yulin. I'm here to discuss the next project with contract ID 25HH0032. Contract name, 001 Ensure Safe and Reliable National Road System, Asset Preservation Program, Rehabilitation, Reconstruction, Upgrading of Damaged Paved Roads, Secondary Roads, Cebu, Balamban, Trans-Central Highway, Kilometer 5 plus minus 502 to Kilometer 7 plus 000, Cebu City. Project description, roads, rehabilitation, asphalt. With approved budget for the contract, 101,325,000. Contract duration of 299 calendar days. Source of fund, FY 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NEP. The location of the project is at Cebu Trans-Central Highway. The net length is 2,445 meters. Start of project is near the junction of Salinas and Gorordo. And the end of the project is at Kilometer 7 near Ruma Hotel. These are the summaries of quantities. We have our provisions of combined field office, laboratory, and living quarters, building for the engineer, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, laboratory, and living quarters, building for the engineers, permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboards, signboards, occupational safety and health program, traffic management, mobilization and demobilization, removal and relocation of utilities, removal and installation of existing solar studs, removal of structures and obstruction, concrete, surplus common excavation, subgrade preparation, aggregate sub-base course, PCCP pavement unreinforced, 300 mm thick, 7 days. So, usara ni siya na double lang. Reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings white, and also the reflectorized thermoplastic pavement markings yellow. Target scope of work. This plan involves construction of 2 lanes of 8.3 meter to 18.8 meter width with 300 mm thick PCCP and 200 mm thick sub-base course. It also includes removal and relocation of existing studs and application of thermoplastic pavement markings. This is the general notes and technical specifications of our items involved. And this is the typical road section. We have our subgrade preparation, PCCP, 200 mm thick sub-base, and on the side, we have the existing sidewalk and existing curb and gutter. Okay, I will give the mic to Engineer Brent to discuss the next project.
Good morning, everyone. For contract ID 25HH0033 with contract name 002, Protect Lives and Properties Against Major Floods, Flood Management Program, Construction, Maintenance of Flood Mitigation Structures and Drainage Systems, Construction of Flood Mitigation Structure along Lahog River, Barangay Lahog, Cebu City, with a project description, flood control, construction, slope protection, with approved budget for the contract, 9,800,000, with contract duration, 134 calendar days. Source of funds, FY 2025 DPWH infrastructure program based on NAP. For this project, it is located along Lahog River, Barangay Lahog, Cebu City, with a net length of 57.6 meters. And geotag photos are provided for the location of the project. This is the location map of the project showing the start of section 1. It's station 0139.33 and end of section 1, station 0196.14. And this is the general notes and the technical specifications for this project. And for the summary of quantities, we have provisions of combined field office, laboratory, and living quarters building for the engineer, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, laboratory, and living quarters building for the engineer, permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard signboard, occupational safety and health program, mobilization, demobilization, detour access road, geotechnical investigation soil, removal of structure and obstruction, includes disposal, structural concrete, 20.68 MPa, Class A, 28 days, reinforcing steel bars grade 40, surplus common excavation for channel excavation, includes disposal, structural steel sheet piles furnished, structural steel sheet piles driven, and manholes 910 mm diameter, and concrete cover 0.5 by 1 by 0.075. The target scope of work for this project is that this project aims to provide secure and effective flood mitigation structure with a program total length of 57.6 meters of structural steel sheet piles, Z-type, with capping beams for the right river bank. So for the typical section for this project, on the first section that shows the pile capping and the structural steel sheet pile, and for the next section it shows the section for the manhole as well as for the steel sheet pile and the concrete structure as well. So, and here are the details as well for the pile capping and the structural sheet pile connection, and for the manhole as well. And that's it for this project. I will now give the microphone to Engineer De La Cruz for the next project.
So good morning, everyone. So I'll be the one to discuss the contract ID 25HH0034, contract name 002 Protect Lives and Properties Against Major Floods, Management Program, Construction Maintenance of Flood Mitigation Structures and Drainage Systems, Construction of Flood Mitigation Structure, Barangay Pitos, Cebu City. The project description is flood control construction slope protection with an ABC amount of 59,183,450 pesos. And the contract duration is 285 calendar days. And the source of funds is FY 2025 DPWH Infrastructure Program based on NEP. So for this project, the location is within Barangay Pitos with a station limits of 000 to 989 with a right river bank 81 meters, left river bank 81 meters, and a total net length of 162 meters. So the location of this project is, ang landmark niya is near, I mean within Camellia Miramonte, going to Camellia Riverdale, Barangay Pitos. So for the exact location, we provided in the plan the geotag or the coordinates. So this project, DI, is continuation project of FY 2024. So this is the tributary, this is the Butuanon River, then this is the Camellia Miramonte, and this is the Camellia Riverdale Bridge. So for the scope of this project, we have the A116 provision of combined field office, operation and maintenance of the temporary field office, provision of communication facility for the engineer, 1 unit laptop and the 1 unit cell phone, permits and clearances, miscellaneous survey and staking, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health program, mobilization or demobilization. We also consider the deter and access road, geotechnical exploration, removal of structures and obstruction, structural concrete, reinforcing steel, pipe culvert, and drain excavation, fill and backfill, grouted riprap, structural steel sheet piles furnished and driven, pipe culverts with a 910 mm diameter, concrete cover, and the manhole. So, sa 2024 project, the location is 02295. Then since this is a continuation, mag-start to 295 to 383 this area. So, and also we have a drainage outfall in station 383, right river bank and the left river bank. So for the typical cross-section, so this is the steel sheet pile, and this is the concrete pile cap with a wall, revetment wall structure, both sides, left and right. And this is also the typical cross-section for the drainage outfall. Then this is the details of the pile cap and the steel sheet pile, and the drainage outfall details, and the Z sheet pile. And this is the grouted riprap for the end protection details. Then that's all. And I will give the floor to Engineer Oriel for the next project.
Good morning, everyone. So, I'm going to present contract ID 25HH0035 with contract name Protect Lives and Properties Against Major Floods, Flood Management Program, Construction Rehabilitation of Flood Mitigation Facilities within Major River Basins, and Principal Rivers, Construction of Flood Mitigation Structure along Mananga River, Package 2, Barangay Bonbon, Cebu City. Project description, flood control, construction, slope protection with ABC 96,500,000. Contract duration 358 calendar days. Source of funds FY 2025 NEP. So the location of the project is in Barangay Bonbon. So later we're going to see the start of the location, but we are going to start from 0 to 1,361 meters. And this project has, we are going to target the two sides of the river. So we have 830 meters from each river banks. So the total length of the project will be 1,660 meters. So here we can see the geotag pictures, and we can also see the coordinates so that you can Google it and see the location, the exact location of our project. So this is the location plan and the detailed location plan of our project. So we're going to start the station 00 and at station 830. So we have equal lengths for both sides of the river bank. So the next pages are just the general notes and the specifications. For the summary of quantities, so we have the usual items here, so I'm going to jump to the major items that we are going to consider. So first of all, we have structure, excavation of hard rock, embankment from barrow, stone masonry, gabions, 1 by 1 by 2. So here we have a detailed plan for the access road and the location of the project again. And this is the typical cross sections that we are going to consider. So here is the detailed, and that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much to the planning engineers for the discussion this morning. I know from our audience, you have any questions regarding the projects? So none so far. But actually, you may visit the planning and design if there will be further clarifications on what was discussed for the projects. Okay, so now we will be hearing some reminders during documents to be submitted during the bidding conference. So this is a voiceover, so please kindly listen. Thank you.
Once again, for the additional information for the bidders, for the documents to be submitted, these following requirements will be discussed in the preparation of the documents. First, for the technical proposal, the basic eligibility requirement during the submission of bids in the field JEPS certificate of registration and membership must be current and updated in accordance with the provisions of the IRR. And its registration is proper and relevant to the particular type of procurement. In lieu of the Class A eligibility documents uploaded and maintained current and updated in the field JEPS. Bidders are required to submit their field JEPS certificate of registration during bid submission. Next, if ang bidder is not enrolled in CWA, the bidder must attach validated PCAB license and registration, statement of all ongoing and completed government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, whether or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid, within the period provided in the bidding documents, given emphasis as per Department Order number 36 series of 2615. For this, strong emphasis is given to this matter since this will be strictly revalidated and checked upon during the detailed bid evaluation. Non-compliance of this is subjected for sanction per DEO number 17 series of 2015 under the 3-strike policy report. Next, statement of single largest completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid at least 50% of the ABC. Net financial contracting capacity or NFCC computation and statement of total assets and liabilities. Next is the mayor's permit or business permit must be present. Tax clearance, audited financial statement, duly received by BIR at least 2 years from bidding date, income tax return or ITR. Next is for DTI for sole proprietorship and CDA for cooperatives. For a corporation, there should be a secretary's certificate or board resolution duly notarized indicating the authorized and designated signing official. Next, JVA, if applicable, which requires special PCAB license and registration with percentage of 2 contractors. For the bid security, the contractor can choose among the applicable forms of bid security, which the duration is 120 calendar days per RA 9184. The bidder shall submit a bid security declaration or any form of bid security in an amount not less than the required percentage of the ABC in accordance with the following schedule. Cash or cashier's check issued by the Universal of Commercial Bank, which is 2%. Now, bank draft guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by a Universal or Commercial Bank, provided, however, that it shall be confirmed and authenticated by a Universal or Commercial Bank if issued by a foreign bank, which is 2%, surety bond upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, which is 5%. Any discrepancy in the amount even a centavo means non-compliant. If the validated exceeds 120 calendar days, the contractor should renew and submit a new bid securing declaration or BSD, considering that all legal, technical, and financial documents should still be valid during award. Number 4, bid security in prescribed form for the amount and validity period. For project requirements, the bidders should attach the organizational chart for the contract to be bid, including the list of contractors' key personnel to be assigned to the contract with their complete qualification data and affidavit of commitment to work on the project of the contractor's key technical personnel, which there must be no duplication of key functions wherein assignments of several projects of key personnel is strongly discouraged because it was found out that some contractors have one project engineer with multiple ongoing contract projects. The 5 key technical personnel must have experience similar to the contract project to be bid at least 50% of ABC, or as follows: project manager is not necessary a licensed civil engineer. However, the experience should have minimum of 5 years experience of same position and 3 years experience of similar position. Project engineer must be duly licensed civil engineer, should be current and updated with a minimum of 5 years experience of same position, 3 years experience of similar position. For the materials engineer, must be a licensed civil engineer with minimum of 5 years experience of same position, 3 years experience of similar position, duly DPWH accredited materials and quality control engineer. Foreman with minimum of 5 years experience of same position and 2 years experience of similar position. For the safety and health officer with a certificate duly accredited by DOLE as safety officer. The bidder should have a safety officer 3 or SO3 regardless of amount and category, wherein the requirements and appointment, designation, and job description as safety officer. If the company doesn't have a safety officer, they should attach a pledge of commitment to undertake trainings for 48 hours. Additional info, they were advised not to manufacture the experience of their key technical personnel just to suit with the requirements. All the licenses and credentials of the key technical personnel must be current and updated. These attachments should be visible and have a clear copy. The BAC advised that the pledged project engineer for the project should not be conflicting with other projects, considering that the supervision will be difficult And this is one of the reasons that will cause negative slippage. A project engineer can handle within the same jurisdiction but outside is quite questionable for his capacity to supervise. List of contractors, major construction, and lab equipment units owned, leased, or under purchase agreements must be supported by proof of ownership or lease or purchase and certification of availability of equipment from lessor, vendor for project duration. Certification of minimum laboratory equipment duly certified by any DPWH office as per DEO number 80 series of 1990 and reiterated for strict compliance as per DEO number 138 series of 2015, DEO 11 series of 2017 to ensure that the said certification is current and updated, which has only 1 year validity and still subject for post-qualification. Construction Safety and Health Program per DEO 129 series of 2014. The preparation of the Safety and Health Program is component of the technical proposal as per department order, of which the limitation is 1 safety officer within limited jurisdiction on the limits not exceeding 50 million. However, per project must have 1 first aider, and it is not necessary approved considering that this will be resubmitted if they will be awarded with the project. The compliance of construction safety and health is now a law as per Republic Act 11058 dated August 2018. The safety officer 3 should be on site since this is one of the requirements during inspection of the personnel from DOLE. There will be a penalty if the safety officer is not around during the inspection of DOLE. The company should also conduct monthly, quarterly, yearly report as one of the OSH requirement in construction industry. The bidders were advised to prepare their own construction safety and health program. For the omnibus sworn statement in the form, the omnibus sworn statement has 9 items. They should comply with a standard form wherein, in the absence of 1 item, it will be rated as failed. For the affidavit of site inspection, inspection of the project site is encouraged in order to validate the site prior to dropping of bids to avoid future problem, because the contractor has the responsibility to complete the project once awarded to them. For the financial proposal, this must be included also the bid form, the bid prices in the bill of quantities, detailed estimates including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. So mo na ang dapat sa inyong detailed no, na agin na diha ang materials, ang labor ug ang material. Ang lamsam na to no, mo na atong gikuan pod before, di magid malikayan ang lamsam no kay per item naaman ang lamsam. Usually na sa mga building nga projects maka duol lang gid mo sa planning, pwede mo mangayo og breakdown sa lamsam no for kuan pod na siya for smooth implementation sa project. No? So makaduol lagid mo unsay suot sa lamsam kay di man pare sa ubang item nga per square naa na dayon no kay per square man lamsam compromise pa nagdaghan kay materials. So quarterly, monthly cash flow and payment schedule must be present also in the financial proposal. Failure to attach any requirement or any missing, incomplete, or patently insufficient documents in the above mentioned is a ground for outright rejection for the bid and will fall as non-compliant. All documents to be submitted must be current and updated, otherwise it will be rated as failed. The technical and financial proposal must be in A4 size, mo na itong standard sa atong bid documents, well paginated with duly authorized signatures and book bounded to avoid insertion. Further, the authorized liaison officer
will be the one to drop the bids. The bidders will also advise to be responsible to their bid submitted in accordance with the checklist, and their technical and financial proposals should have proper pagination based on the number or order if the checklist including proper sequencing of documents. Their submitted documents should be done accordingly. If the legal A documents are attached, much better. However, if the documents are expired, attach receipt of proof that the renewal is on process. The bid documents of the bidders must follow the completeness of the bid, both in form and substance. The bidders were advised not to recycle legal documents of documents attached in the previous submission of bids which have signatures and countersigns of the back members. It must be all original signatures attesting certified copies. Affidavits must be original signature. For the joint venture, whatever guidelines complied by one bidder should also be complied by the other bidder. For example, if one has a PhilJEPS registration, then the other one should also attach their PhilJEPS registration. Leaving blanks on the bid proposal for the unit bid price of total cost per item is considered failed, except indicated as zero, or which is understood as free to the government. Bidders with lowest bid during the opening of bid is not a guarantee to be awarded. Why? Kay subject for evaluation pa man ang inyong gidrop. All bid documents are still subject for bid evaluation and post-qualification prior to be declared as lowest calculated responsive bid and subsequently to be awarded for the contract. The bidders are given 3 days upon bidding for file for a motion for reconsideration. The BAC emphasized on the deadline of the receipt by the BAC of bids, which is 10 a.m. only, as stipulated in the invitation of bid. Kung mulapas na sa 10 a.m., so dili na makadrop ang bidders. No, ato ginang gistrikto og maayo, i-close na nato ang atong hulganan dere beyond 10 a.m. in the morning. For the criteria and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification and award, the BAC will determine the eligibility of the bidders based on the PhilJEPS registration on their legal aid documents, which should be maintained current and updated, including that of the Civil Works application or the CWA, which focuses on the NFCC, work experience of single largest completed contract, similar to the contract project for bidding at hand. The BAC will ascertain based on the checklist of the required documents to be submitted using pass or fail criterion during the preliminary and detailed bid evaluation. In addition, after the opening of bids as per 2016 revised implementing rules and regulation under section 32.2, the BAC will conduct a detailed bid evaluation of all the bids using non-discretionary criteria wherein it requires the completeness of bid. Bids not addressing or providing all the required items in the bidding documents, including, where applicable, bill of quantities, shall be considered non-responsive and thus automatically disqualified. In this regard, where a required item is provided but no price is indicated, the same shall be considered as not responsive, but specifying a zero or a dash for the said item would mean that it is being offered for free of the government, except those required by law or regulations to be provided for. In case of discrepancies between bid prices and figures and in words, the latter shall prevail, no? Ang words ang more prevail. Total price per item and unit price for the item as extended or multiplied by the quantity of that item. Unit cost in the detailed estimate and unit cost in the bill of quantities, the same will be applied to the detailed checking evaluation of the technical. The same will be applied no, sa katong checking evaluation of the proposal. Then the bidder, rated as the lowest calculated bidder, will undergo post-qualification. Once post-qualified, the bidder will be determined as lowest calculated responsive bid and subsequently to be awarded for the contract. All bidders are of equal footing thereby. Bidders are advised to include all taxes, other fiscal and duties as mandated by law in all items of work, which details are shown in the detailed estimates. For the post-qualification, the bidders were advised to read Department Order Number 127, Series 2018, and other issuances relative to this matter, since the BAC will be very keen and strict on the conduct of post-qualification process, considering that the concerned officials or employees, including the concerned BAC members, will be liable to the administrative penalties if this directive will not be followed. As per DO number 127, the contractor will not be awarded with a certain project if it has a negative slippage of at least 15% in a single contract or at least 10% in 2 or more contracts. During post-qualification, even though the contractor is the lowest bidder, still it is subject for further verification to ensure the compliance of the requirements of the contract. With that, the office will be sending a letter being the lowest calculated bid, which within 5 days from the receipt of notice, the bidder must submit the latest income and business tax return and other appropriate licenses, permits, and other legal documents required and stated in the bidding document and as stipulated in the said communication. If not complied within 5 days, the next calculated lowest bidder will be notified. So, you're only given 5 days, no? On the other hand, the office will be sending a letter of inquiry on the committed failure on the bidding at hand. Thus, this communication must be acted upon the contractor on the required time frame. Otherwise, without action taken, it will be relatively resort to sanction, which will fall on the 3-strike policy, which a tantamount of blacklisting, suspension of the contractor. If the bidder will commit 3 mistakes in a year, then they will be recommended for further sanctions. Moreover, the qualification and experience of the key technical personnel is subject for verification as part of the post-qualification process. They are allowed to replace their key personnel technical, which they have to write a letter 14 days prior to the proposed replacement, duly approved by the HOPE of the office. The BAC will be strict on the compliance of the equipment as part of post-qualification. It is stated as per DO number 127, Series 2018. The contractor can attach in the proposal the list of equipment or agreement to purchase or proposal to rent or agreement on the delivery of the equipment so that the contractor will be assessed as compliant in terms of equipment requirement. The OR and CR must be present, Also, it must be current and updated, not expired. The equipment should be calibrated and TESDA accredited, and the registration should be current and updated. Whatever is stipulated in the BDS should be followed. An inspection will be conducted on the verification of equipment during other documents to be evaluated. Also, to be verified during post-qualification is the set of equipment pledged by the bidder. The bidder should in the submitted bid location of the equipment where they can be inspected. Ang atong DPWH members kay mo inspect na sa inyong equipment pledge, If any piece of equipment is not in the specified location, then the bidder shall be post-disqualified as per Department Order Number 9, Series of 2012. 10 calendar days upon receipt of the NOA or Notice of Award, the contractor must comply the following: notice of award with the bidders signed for a joint venture, contractor's PCAB license, special joint venture license, and joint venture agreement. Performance security in any of the forms specified in the instruction of bidders. The performance security shall be in the amount not less than the required percentage of the total contract price in accordance with the following schedule: cash or cashier's manager's check issued by a universal or commercial bank, which is 10%. Bank draft or guarantee or a revocable letter of credit issued by a universal or commercial bank, provided, however, that it shall be confirmed or authenticated by a universal or commercial bank if issued by a foreign bank, which is 10%. Surety bond callable upon demand issued by a surety or insurance company duly certified by the Insurance Commission as authorized to issue such security, which is 30%. No? So, ang sa inyong construction methods, kay nabot ay form. No, follow lang ta sa form. Ang construction schedule in the form of per CPM diagram or precedence diagram and bar chart with S-curve, cash flow. Contractors all risk insurance or CARE to be submitted during the period required on the submission of the required documents in the award of contract. However, the effective date is on the effectivity of the contract. Latest income tax and business returns duly stamped and received by BIR and duly validated with the tax payments made. Tax clearance from the BIR to prove full and timely payment of taxes. For a local contractor, certification under oath stating that a contractor is free and clean of all tax liabilities. For a foreign bidder, for the summary.
Okay. Okay, so I think, hope you have grasped some, no? But anyway, by the time you will drop your bids, or no, you will buy your documents, there will also be checklists. Now, additional reminder lang, we are emphasizing with respect to the submission of your bid documents, both financial and technical, because we have noticed that when you submit your documents, some of the pages are lost due to the binding process. So please ensure that all your documents submitted should be properly bind lang, so that there will be no loss of pages. No, by the time, it's usually when we open, by the time you have to sign in each page, there are tendencies na ma-separate talaga. So please ensure that it is properly binded. And also with respect to ensure also that accreditation of your project engineers and contractors are updated, okay? So we have a updated memo to that. So yun lang, okay? So any more concerns? Wala na po from our audience. Sa online, Mar? Okay, so I think that's all. So this pre-bidding conference is hereby adjourned. Good morning once again.